Good evening, everybody, and welcome to VSL F2, where we are here under lights for the Singapore GP, the longest race on the calendar. And as you can see, we are a little bit wet this evening. There is moisture on the circuit, so intermediates for these guys right now. So yeah, a very tricky qualifying session coming up for these guys. And we'll get the information up quickly. There we go. So yeah, probably one of the most trickiest combos you can have on the F1 game, I'd say. And yeah, so let's see how they manage to deal with things. But it's Rob, who's our first driver on track. We have Davo, who has retired, so maybe he had a qualifying ban for that incident last week. Maybe I haven't looked at the stewards' findings, but I guess there's a possibility. Rob, even on his outlap, getting very close to the wall over the Anderson Bridge. So yeah, I'm going to have to be careful with these lot. And it is a very long lap round here. I bet in the wet we'll be close to 1 minute 50s maybe? I'm not 100% sure. We did have a Singapore GP quite recently in real life, so, and that was wet, so I guess that is a good idea of how long the lap should be. But obviously not the most realistic circuits in the world, so obviously a bit of difference in time to be expected, but Rob comes to the last sector underneath the bridge that we won't be going underneath come next year. We'll be going straight instead, and then having that last chicane there that we've just gone through, and then these final two fast left-handers. It's going to be Rob to start his qualifying session with the first hot lap in the Alfa Romeo. Going down into a left-hander for turn 1. Want to just avoid that curve nicely and then ride this one along, get ready for turn 3, as that is turn 2 there, that longest right. There's the hairpin to start turn 3. Good luck into turn 4, coming down to turn 5, fast right hander before what would be a DRS zone, but in the wet, no DRS. Mrs. Apex doesn't really use all the track, but at the start of the session, just going to learn the conditions. Down the straight, 3-6, and then pretty heavy braking for turn 7, where we did see there's something will go off, and this will be one of the main overtaking spots tonight. Through 8, I believe. Tight right hander, very easy to get pushed into the outside wall if side by side. Then turn 9, this fast left misses Apex a little bit again. You want to get close to the outside wall. Now coming into what would have been the Singapore Sling a few years ago. Fast left before flicking it right, and then back to the left to go over the Anderson Bridge. Get close to that wall there, it does stick out a little bit compared to the rest, so you have to be careful of that, and then this wall sticks out as well. And for the slow score on the track, 40-ish mile an hour, then what would be another DRS zone. But rain, so no DRS. It's 3 second set split, 1 minute 13.8, so let's see how that compares with people later on. Purple middle, obviously, he is the first person through it, so to be expected. Misses his Apex completely, taking a very deep line through that. Now coming into another very tight left-hander before tight right. Getting as close to the wall on the exit attitude there, trying not to hit it. And then for a little bit of a clunky chicane, these big curves can unsettle the car a little bit. And then getting as close to the outside wall again before this fast double left. And that is your lap. It's going to be a 52.8 for Rob, our first person to set a lap. And F1 buzzer for what's coming across the line. It's going to be 54.7, so nearly 2 seconds off. Who is on a lap now? George. Is he on a lap? George is on a lap, and actually it's quite good. Oh, he's in the rear, and that is a front wing gone. He might still beat Bowser though. Yeah, he does still beat Bowser. So off into P2 for him. A Red Bull crossing the line. That's Y Racer off to P1, and then Acorn goes P2. Alpine having a very successful day out last time. Bio goes into 3rd in the upper Aston, and then Ryan in the Alpine up to 5th. Tony now up to P3, so a lot of lap times being set. Right now it's Jack Craig coming around the final corner, taking a lot of speed. This could be top 5 maybe. It is P3 for the Alfa Romeo. Who is next to Lewis Craig? I wonder if there's a relation there. I'm going to imagine there is. To Jack Craig. But here comes the Mercedes out the final corner. Oh, misses Apex pretty massively, and that has kind of ruined the lap time. I think that would have been pole if it wasn't for that final corner blunder. But we carry on. The next car to cross the line is going to be Lee. As in fact, oh no, never mind. I was going to say, where's Gareth? But he's just sitting in the pits, not coming out. So maybe it's going to dry towards the end, and then we'll see our championship leader, probably champion to beat, come out on track. Let me get the standings up. As ERT Jordan goes P1 in the Alfa Romeo, as Kev Rusky about to cross the line as well. This is very quick. Wow, 50.9, pole by nearly an entire second for Ferrari man. Give me a minute. I'm just trying to find the standings. Is anybody on a lap? It's Buzzer just starting one. In fact, he did improve. He went 53.0, so he jumped ahead of George. So we have our tier 2 standings. So it is Gareth leading the way on 185 points, and then Davo in second place still with 134, but Ryan in third with 126, Y-Racer in fourth with 105, and Kev Rusky in fifth with 91, and then it's quite a close battle for fifth at the minute. Kev on 91, Newgarden on 89, Acorn on 84, and Lyle on 73, and then Mike on 70, and then round that top 10 is Ryan Berry on 57. And then looking at our constructors standings, very close to in the top 3. Alpine on 210 leading the way, and then it is Williams on 205 and Red Bull in third on 194. So those three really are in the hunt for the constructors championship. As I'll have a look actually how many rounds we do have left, because seasons are going on a while. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rounds left, including today. So it's still plenty of time for things to change on all championship fronts. So let's just see how things develop. Now, obviously, the race to watch is the one tonight. That is what we will be concentrating on for now. But Bazza in the Aston Martin is about to set his third or fourth lap, I believe, although he might be pitting. Yeah, he's going to enter the pits. Is Ryan on the lap? Might be, although he does look to be struggling a little bit with fuel, I think. I don't know if that car is out of fuel, but it's not really accelerating like you'd expect. Let's see though, he might be on the lap. As Acorn, his teammate, goes P1 with a 49.7. Wow, so the truck surely ramping up. In fact, no, Ryan is on a good lap. This is going to be P2, so Alpine 1-2 all of a sudden. 1.2 clear of anybody else that is non-Alpine. Lee nearly 8/10 up in the first. So let's see what he can do. And let's see what his sector split is through the second sector. As, in fact, I believe it has stopped raining. The rain has stopped, so expect lap times to drop, and maybe by the end of the session we could see a few dry tyres. There's Lee 2.1 seconds off on his lap, the purple middle sector. So yeah, the evidence is showing that the track is definitely improving lap time wise. So here comes Lee through the final corner. ERC Jordan goes P1 and Lee spins it. Is he going to keep out the wall? Just about keeps out the wall in the Williams. And ERT Jordan goes P1 by 9/10, so lap times are absolutely plummeting. Is anybody on the lap? I assume most people are going to be pitting. And we are seeing some soft tyres out on the track. Let's see. Yeah, we are seeing quite a lot of soft tyres now. So I believe this is the crossover period. And people are going to start risking the dries. Who is the first driver out on dries? I think it may very well be Tony. In fact, no, Y-Racer is in the last section on dries. So, yeah, how about Rob? No, Rob's in the pits. So, yeah, I believe it is Y-Racer will be the first man to push with anger on the slicks. Still not looking 100% dry, as you can see, and trying to just get temperature in those tyres. I'm sure that's going to be a very difficult task right now. and it's going to be a bit of a risky lap, but that is what makes it entertaining. So let's go on board with him. Does he have DRS? No, DRS is still disabled, so not dry enough for DRS, the FIA or stewards feeling. But it didn't look too bad. Let's see how he gets through turn 5. Gets his apex quite nicely. He's going to run it all the way out to the wall. He needs a little bit of room for him to push on future laps, but the ice now enabled. Is it going to be purple? It is 2.5 seconds up, so yeah, the track is definitely dry now. The dry tyres are the tyres to be on, but still these will not be the fastest laps we'll see on this session, because the track will continue to improve until the very end, you'd imagine. You can just see, compared to a few of the laps we watched earlier, just how much more speed he can carry through corners and how much more aggressive he can be attacking. Coming across the Anderson Bridge for the hairpin. Goes down to second, short shift to third probably. Yeah, there's your short shift, opens DRS. How much he can be up by? 6.3 seconds, so this is going to absolutely smash everyone out of the water. But will it be able to keep him on top for long? Probably not. But as it like quite good lap from Y-Racer. Really using all the track now towards the end of this lap. Confidence is probably grown throughout the lap, knowing that the grip is there on the dries. Using a bit of curve, maybe not the fastest way. It did kind of push him out wide a little bit, but coming around the final corner, you can see there, just look at that, 46.6 for Jack Craig. That's going to be absolutely destroyed by over 5 seconds by Steve Y-Racer in the Red Bull, who goes to the top of the time fields with a 41.6. And the next person to set lap is going to be Tony, who has just entered the last sector in his McLaren. He does have the Red Bull of Newgarden about 4 or 5 seconds in front of him, so he shouldn't catch, he should be alright without any traffic. But what can he do in the McLaren? Coming towards the final 2 corners. Then this might be pole 40.9, so beats Y-Racer by 7/10, a big lead from him. Here comes George with a 53.9, so probably the starting lap for the Haas. Rob is on a quick one now. And then never mind, 6 minutes 30 this lap, so a very long lap for him. Surely that's not right. Now 152.8 for the Alfa Romeo. Gareth, our championship leader, in the final sector, setting his first meaningful lap. Coming out the final real corner into the fast double left. It's going to be a 38.9, so the first drive into the 38s. He knocks off Kev, who just at pole for about 2-3 seconds there, ahead of him in Ferrari. He's going to be next. Oh, that was contact there for George. Is that damage? We can't really get a good camera angle. Let's wait and see. No, he looks alright, so he's going to carry on, I imagine. It's the Haas. It says a purple middle, although it does disappear very quickly. He's 7 seconds off on his PB. Let's see what the Haas can do towards the end of this lap. There's a slow Red Bull on the inside coming into the bridge. Through the chicane towards the end of the lap. Just a double left to go. What's it going to be for George? It's going to be a... Oh, it's not going to be great. It's a P3, so it's second row of the grid, a 40.4, but you've got to imagine a lot of people are going to be able to beat that on their final runs, how much this track has improved. So the likes of Gareth and that, unless they do a cooldown, which he should be on now, they're not going to get another go at it. So this is their lap time. But we'll wait and see if he is going to have another go at it. As we have drivers coming on their outlaps. people who haven't had the experience of the dry tyres, so they are maybe a little bit of a disadvantage with not knowing the conditions. As Gareth's going to pit, so that is qualifying over for him. F1 Bazza is on a slow lap, so he's getting himself ready. Lyle on an outlap, a lot of drivers on outlaps. Newgarden looks to be pushing a little bit, is he? Or is this a slow lap? I'm going to imagine. It does seem pretty quick, and he's not got any ERS, so this could be a quick lap from Newgarden. Let's see what happens. He is 7 seconds up, so he's on at the minute for a 45, so let's see how much he can gain in the laps. He needs to find another 7 seconds if he wants to be challenged in that front slot. Not as aggressive as we've seen from the likes of his teammate Y-Racer, who did set that lap very early. Tony not coming back out, neither is Kev, Gareth, so they're all done. So there are positions to be made for people that are out on track, and it does look like Newgarden backs off a little bit. It's not going to be the most competitive lap from the Red Bull. Is it going to be in the 30s? No, it's going to be a 41. 41.0, so we're only P6, just ahead of his teammate. And that is ERC Jordan going up into P2 in the Alpha Tauri. Here comes Lyo, who's just starting his lap. And we have a Mercedes behind him of Lewis Craig starting the lap as well. Is that Lee? Yeah, Lee starting the lap. So a lot of drivers just starting their lap. Is Rob starting his lap? Yep. So a lot of people starting laps. Who do we go on board with? I think we'll go on board with Acorn, who's just starting his lap. Alpine are on good form right now, and they carry it on here in Singapore qualifying. As there's the checkered flag. So you see Gareth, Kev, Tony, and Y-Race are all done for the session. So Y-Race actually didn't cross the line in time. I think Y-Race was on an outlap and has missed the checkered flag by only a second or so. So unfortunate for him. He did seem to have decent pace. The first driver to set a lap on the softs. Acorn 2.3 seconds up in the first sector alone. He does have a little bit of traffic in front. Is that Jack Craig? Yeah, that is Jack Craig in front. So let's hope he doesn't catch him and they can both get laps without interference. So Acorn really pushing. Wow, this looks really good from him. Misses Apex a little bit, though. That might cost him just a fraction. Coming across the Anderson Bridge for the slowest corner on the track. And now opening up the RS, shifting through the gears, getting all the way up to 7th, not quite 8th. 6.5 seconds up, so this is looking good for the Alpine man. Jordan crosses the line, doesn't improve position. I think he did improve his lap time a little bit though. As we have Ryan P5, Bazza up to P7 now, Lyo up to P3 onto the second row. So Lyo showing good form. Lewis Craig goes P5, and that was an Alfa Romeo spun. I think that was Jack Craig, or was that Rob? I think that was Rob. Backwards there. And there is Newgarden pitting, and here comes Acorn. Jack Craig goes P1. What can Acorn do? He can't. He's not had the best final sector. That is P7 for Acorn, and Jack Craig, on what I believe is his debut, takes P1 in the Alfa Romeo by 4 tenths over Gareth, our championship leader in P2, and Jordan P3. Lee, who's 8.5 seconds up, over 8.5 seconds up, but it's decided to pit, so that is qualifying done. It is Jack Craig in Alfa Romeo taking pole position from Gareth in P2, Jordan P3, Live P4, and Kev Rusky P5, and then Lewis Craig in P6 on debut, Acorn 7th, George 8th, Ryan 9th, and Bazza rounding out the top 10. A tricky qualifying session then for most of these drivers with these mixed conditions. And Davo at the back, not actually doing a lap. Lee's time was on inters, so yeah. Red Bull having a disaster for their constructors' hopes. And only a single Williams here, so in fact, no, sorry, both Williams are here. It is a big Williams sandwich, in fact. Lee starting in 15th. So you've got to say upper hand to Williams at the minute, because Alpine and Red Bull not having the best qualifying. So we will have our ritualistic 2-minute break before the race starts. And then we will be ready to go for the Singapore GP. We'll see if it is wet first, because if it's wet we are in for a long evening. I know it looks dry at the minute, although I mean you can't really tell because it's night time, but it does look quite misty, I guess. But yeah, we will have our 2 minute break and then we will be back in a short while. So get ready for the Singapore GP. So I imagine we should be going pretty soon. Our driver's nearly ready. I think the drivers lose about 5 kg or something during the race here. It is something incredible with the amount of sweat and heat that there is here in Singapore with the humidity. So that is one of the reasons it is a night race, because the heat in the day is hot, hot, hot. But we wait for the ready up and then we can get underway for the long Singapore GP. I can't quite remember how many laps. I think it's about 32, 33. And I'm not 100% sure on strategy, to be honest. I think the softs are pretty much useless. They'll burn up in a matter of laps. So I think it'll be mediums and hards all round. Just depending on whether you want to go medium hard or hard medium. Some at the front probably going to go hard, some at the back maybe mediums, try and get their way through the field a little bit, and then yeah, and obviously because it is Singapore, there is a very high chance of a safety car because the wolves are never too far away. But we have already up, so 15 seconds until we get going, and then we can see what tyres everyone's on and what strategies we could see play out tonight. As we try and get audio. Do we have audio? No, we don't. Oh, we can actually hear the cars, so let's see what tyres are people on. Where do we even see that? In this one. Yeah, here we are. So it is mediums and hards all around except for Raab, who's starting 11th on a soft set of tyres. But mediums for the top 4, that is Jack Craig, Gareth, Jordan and Lyo, all on the mediums. And then Kev Ruski in the Ferrari in P5 on the hard compound. And Lewis Craig and Acorn in 6th and 7th as Acorn gets very close there to the back of the Mercedes. They are both on mediums, and then it's George who is in AI at the minute, so hopefully he can get back in. I did see him leave while we were waiting to ready up, but I think he did join back, so I'm not sure what's going on there. He's on the hards. Then it is the other Alpine of Ryan and Bazza round out the top 10 on mediums. Rob, as we talked about, the only soft runner, so he's be looking to make very fast progress through the field. Tony in the McLaren, P12 on mediums, same for Newgarden and Y-Racer, the Red Bull duo. And then rounding out the grid, it's Lee and Davo, who are both on the hard, so they'll be looking to go long and just avoid any damage and try and just see what happens, really. But yeah, it is 31 laps around here, so quite a long, well, the longest race. The way they judge race distance is through distance, and I guess this is the always lucky for Dava there is no damage on the formation lap because that is quite heavy contact with the wall. I believe they try and do about 250 kilometers or miles for a race, and yeah. So I think Singapore has quite a low average speed, so that is why it is such a long race, because it is quite a long track and it is slow. So yeah, but anyway, Jack Craig just in the final sets now. Going to try and get some heat in his tyres, maybe back up the pack a little bit because the pack is quite spread out. I mean, you can see there, Dave at the back is not even in the last section yet, and Jack Craig is just about to come under the bridge, the grandstand. I don't really know what to call it really. I guess it is a grandstand and a bridge at the same time. I guess we'll call it a grandstand through the grandstand. But yeah, now you can see him backing up, weaving left and right, trying to get as much temperature as possible in the tyres. And always fun to see our drivers trying to line up on the grid as often. Quite a few get it wrong and then get reset and lose some valuable meters that they could really do with off the line. But anyway, coming to the final corner. Let's see how Jack Craig handles the lining up process. He puts his foot down a little bit. Maybe just trying to get some extra heat in the tyres. He has a clear track in front of him. Look at that, he can easily see the run down to turn one, and he actually lines up perfectly. I believe, yeah, look at that, that is perfect. Jordan, on the other hand, not so much. As we have Davo there spinning in the background, doing a nice 360 to really get the heat into those tyres before the race start. But now gets into his grid spot pretty much unharmed. So we have a bad camera angle with Jack Craig, so we'll go on board with Gareth here for the start of the Singapore GP. It's 3, 4, 5 lights. And it's lights out, and away we go here in Singapore. Who gets the best start? Jack Craig still giving us a bad camera angle, but he gets a brilliant start. He's going to lead easily down to turn 1. Gareth's going to be P2. Rusky up into P3, but gets tagged by Lyo, and that's going to send Lyo. Oh, I'm not actually sure what's happened there. There's 3 wide though. There's been quite a lot of contact in the first few corners. So much going on. Kevin Rusky up to P3 though on the hard. Lyo managed to keep people off. What he had spun. But they're still side by side, further back down the grid. Good decent start for Newgarden, side by side with George right now. Who is going to be? George is actually back in his car, so that's good to see. Who's going to come out on top here? It's going to be, I think there's going to be Newgarden as yet. Tony sneaks past as well. And there's some battles going on here side by side through the hairpin style, and that is George into the wall, losing his wheel. Oh, that is a shame. I said that could happen. That is a very narrow corner, and do we have we have a safety car on the first lap of Singapore, and that is going to be Newgarden spun around as well in the Red Bull. I'm not too sure what's happened there. That was the corner after we've just seen George lose his front left tyre. So George, I imagine, was just side by side there and just gets squeezed out a little bit towards the wall, and yeah, it will rip your tyre off in a heartbeat with that wall. So that is a shame for him, but Jack Craig dealing with the pressure magnificently and getting a really good start and jump on Gareth and leading comfortably into turn 1. And Kev Rusky had a big bit of contact there into turn 1. It did look like a lie. Maybe he went a little bit deep, a bit ambitious on the brakes. I'm not sure if he had maybe another car off his inside or what, but yeah, he did make contact with Kevin. I thought he was going to spin, but he didn't, so that's going to be Lyo in P4 still. Jordan having a poor start. He started 3rd, I believe. Let's look actually on gainers and losers. What do you see now? Oh, here we are. Yeah, Jordan lost 2 positions off the start. He went from 3rd to 5th. Rob on the softs from 11th up to 6th, so making use of those soft tyres, not deciding to pit those, so he's going to stay out. Ryan making 2 positions up to 7th and also ahead of his teammate Acorn, who's 8th. Bazza making 1 position up to 9th. Davo, who we've seen doing donuts, is in 10th on the hards, just ahead of his teammate who's had a poor start, Lewis Craig, from 5th, from 6th all the way down to 11th, losing 5 positions. Y Racer up to P12, the new guy who we've seen had a spin, we're not sure how, I did miss it, in 13th, keeping position. Lee in the pits, just up down to 15th, because he is now behind Tony, who is 14th and losing 2 positions, and obviously George, our single DNF so far. I imagine that won't be the last though, so yeah, let's see what is to come, and hopefully people can catch safety car and we can get going soon. So yeah, the Mercedes safety car making an appearance. We've had quite a lot of Aston Martin this season, so nice to see the safety car getting a nice whip around by Bert Mylander. Obviously the Mercedes safety car is actually faster, so this could work into the hands of some of our medium and hard runners, getting decent temperature into the tyres. I'm not sure if they actually do drive at different speeds on the game, but in real life anyway, the Mercedes is noticeably faster than the Aston Martin. But we have to wait for Tony and Lee to catch up, and I don't think that'll be this lap, so we're going to have at least one more lap. Probably going to go racing at the end of lap 3, starting lap 4, and let's see how Jack Craig can do. He managed the pressure off the start. Can he manage the pressure off the safety car at restart? He's done very well, so I'm expecting him to do well once more. Through the grandstand we go, and in fact Davo has had a spin there, so he is carrying on his formation of antics and pirouetting for fun by the looks of things. Did he get any damage to W? The predicted pit stops, hard medium or hard medium soft. I don't expect to see a 2-stop as it is quite a long enough round here, but did Davo get damaged? Will he be hitting? Looks like he's going to stay out. So lucky to not get any damage there, I'd say, for Davo, but yeah. As we have Lee actually pitting. Did he, has he crashed? I'm not sure. He didn't get speeding penalty, so let's have a look. Does he change his front wing? They all stood there with the front wing, I think. Oh no, they're not. So just a tactical tyre change for the Williams going back onto his original set of hards. So maybe he can try and go to the end actually. This could be an interesting strategy call from Lee. But let's see, as he will have to push a little bit to catch the safety car. And that is not what you want to be doing, spinning out the pit lane. So Lee needs to try and warm those tyres up gradually and not do that, because that will cause unnecessary wear. But I think he should comfortably catch up before the end of the second section, and we can go racing again, hopefully. This might actually play into his hands, because he will push to get to the back of the safety car, so his tyres will be warmer than everyone else's. That is depending on when he does catch, because if it's quite early then the tyres will probably cool back down when he slows down to maintain track position. But here he's now coming to the back of the train. And safety car should be coming in. Yeah, there we go, safety car in this lap. So now it's up to Jack Craig to control the pace, and then he can decide when we get going again. Don't want to go too early, don't want to go too late, so it is a very fine art. Not hanging around though, he's going quite quick, so maybe not giving people much chance to heat their tyres, but no, he slows down and gets weaving. You must be careful that he doesn't change his speed up and down too much, because people can report if you are deemed to be stopping and starting. Once you go, you've got to commit. You can't decide you've gone, realise you've had a bad restart and then back off. And also no overtaking until the safety car has entered the pit, then you cross the start finish line. But he's still weaving. When's he going to go? I think he's gone. Yeah, he has gone. But Gareth seems to have got a decent run. Can Gareth maybe have a look down to turn 1? I don't think that's going to happen. Is there any looks to be had further down the grid? I think there is. There are Mercedes and Red Bull side by side. That's Lewis Craig and Y Racer. As Y Racer goes through on the Mercedes and is now behind Bazza in the Aston Martin. Any close powers behind ERT Jordan, very close to the back of Lio. And in fact, Gareth is close to the back of Craig, Jack Craig. No, he's not going to go for it. What about Jordan on Lio? No, that's not going to happen either. It's all very routine. Ryan was very late on the break there. There's Newgarden and Lewis Craig going to go side by side. Let's hope this doesn't end like the last time. No, it doesn't. They actually successfully go. And Newgarden, in fact, goes all the way around the outside of Lewis Craig there. So now he's got his Mercedes teammate David behind him for P13. Lewis Craig has a little dummy to the inside, doesn't do anything. Maybe does force Newgarden into a little bit of a mistake there, but kind of does follow him, so they both make a mistake. Any news to be had over the Anderson Bridge? Doesn't look like it. In fact, Davo going to have a look on his teammate here. What can Lewis Craig hold position? I think he can. Owns an off good view of this. So Lewis Craig not having as good a restart as Jack Craig there, and has lost a few positions on this lap, and it could be about to get worse. As there goes Davo, he's through now. Will Tony have a look? No, he's going to stay behind and wait a little bit longer. But out front, Jack Craig nearly got second lead on Gareth, our championship leader, who has 2 seconds already on Kev. So Kev's struggling maybe on those hard tyres as Rav runs wide. That might give Ryan a run. Here comes Ryan in the Alpine. Going to look to the inside, you'd imagine, for turn 1. He's going to go for it. Oh, very close to contact there as Y Racer is actually making a move on Bazza. Oh, there might have been a little bit of contact there. I thought I did hear it, but Bazza managed to stay in the straight line, and that is what we want to see. So all good on that part. As Jordan only 4 tenths behind Lio, and Ryan only 2 tenths behind Rob, and Rob has no ERS already. So Rob really struggling for ERS, and it's going to be Ryan not really knowing where to go there. Some good defending, I guess you could say, from Rob, although he did move maybe 1 too many times, but I think he'll be alright with that. I don't think you're going to get looked at for that sort of defending. It only happens once or twice. But let's get the telemetry up. How much? He's on 8% and he's hit the wall there. He has hit the wall there. I don't think he has any damage. The wall does stick out a little bit, and he's maybe just taken a bit too many liberties. So those soft tyres, are they already dead on the Alfa Romeo? Because he is struggling. 2 seconds he got to Jordan, and he's got totally on the front of the compound tyre. A lot of ERS being used by these drivers though. I mean, Raab on 6%, Ryan on 35%. So all very close to no battery already. But Ryan just kind of stuck behind at the minute. Not much happening on his part. There's a little bit of a train forming behind Raab on the softs. DRS enabled. Gareth with the fastest lap. So he'll be looking to utilise the drag reduction system to get past Jack Craig. But here comes Y Racer, gets a very good run as we have another safety car. I am not sure for what. I'm going to imagine Lee's crashed. What has happened there to the Williams? The only thing I could think of that's given us some safety car. That safety car does seem a little bit pointless, to be honest. Yeah, he has no wings as the Williams, and that maybe saves Jack Craig from being overtaken by Gareth. And could these medium runners now pit for a set of parts and try and go to the end? So the safety car maybe dictating its strategy. As Lee gets a 5-second penalty for crossing the white line. We've seen him do it before when spinning, and he's done it again, and this time the steward has taken action and punished him. So that is a 5 seconds for the Williams. But what will these guys do? I imagine we're going to see a few pitters, because I think it is possible that Hards can go to the end from here. but we'll have to wait and see. As Jack Craig has got a 7-second gap, I'm not quite sure how. Maybe his delta must be different to others because he's going a lot faster than everyone else. But let's see, are they going to pit or not? Jack Craig stays out. What's Gareth going to do? Gareth is going to stay out too. Kevriski staying out. Are we going to see no pitters? I thought we would have seen at least one pitter. Rob is obviously going to pit to get those softs off, and Y-Racer pitting too. But them two seem like the only ones at the minute. Yeah, they are the only two pitters. I honestly thought we'd see quite a lot of pitters, but only the two. So Rob and Y-Racer are the ones to watch to see what they can do. Hopefully these guys can catch up relatively quick and we can get racing again, because the laps really do take forever under safety car. It's going to be about a 2-minute 20-second lap, I imagine, if we're behind safety car, so we'll be here for forever, for a long time. But Lee is pushing on to try and catch up. He does have that 5-second penalty, and he's not too far behind Y-Racer and Rob, so they should all catch around about the same time. Whether it's this lap, I don't know. It might be next lap, but yeah, I am very surprised by the lack of pitters, to be honest. I thought we'd see a few more people at least gamble, but clearly not many are willing to take the risk. I mean, around here, track position is king. I mean, it's not the easiest track to overtake, and it is very possible to defend your position quite comfortably. So these three slowly catching. I don't think it's going to be this lap now. I think it will be next lap that we get back to racing. I think that was a bit dramatic from the race directors to throw the safety car, to be honest. So what I imagine is just a lost front wing. I mean, no one else had any incidents. It was just Lee losing his front wing, and then all you need to do is simply pit and get that repaired. There we go, a blistering lap time from Jack Craig. It's going to be a 2-minute 28.2. Wow, incredible pace from the Alfa Romeo. No wonder he's leading. We've got to find ways to entertain ourselves while we wait. Still, nobody else does pit. I'm very surprised. So now everyone is caught up, so there is no reason why we shouldn't be going next up. So yeah, the bottom four, that is Tony, Rob, Y-Racer and Lee, have all pit. Tony's on 6 uphold hards, Rob and Y-Racer on 1 uphold hards, and then Lee on 3 uphold mediums. He's going to have to pit again, definitely. And the other 3 have a chance, especially Rob and Y-Racer going to the end. Tony, I think, would be a stretch, but I mean, I've seen crazier things. But everyone else ahead of them does have to pit, so Tony is our net race leader as things stand, but field spread around here is very possible. I mean, we did see, especially Rob and those softs, he was really struggling. He was about 3 seconds behind already, and he was supposed to be on the fastest compound, so, you know, clearly anything can happen. Here, under the lights of Singapore. But hopefully the lights should go out on the top of that safety car in about 2 seconds. Out now. Not out yet. Maybe everyone just needs to punch up. There we go. Safety car in this lap. So Jack Craig, he successfully got through the race start, successfully got through the first safety car restart. Now the second safety car restart, can he make it a hat trick of successful starts really? And he went just before the final 2 corners last time. What's he going to do this time? He worked well from, so I imagine something similar is on the horizon. Though Gareth could maybe predict it a bit better this time. Let's go on board with Gareth and see when is Jack Craig going to go. He went about now this time last time by. He waits a little bit longer this time. Still not gone, still not gone. Now he decides to go, and Gareth in fact has got a really good run on him. Gareth's going to be able to apply pressure down into turn 1. They're going to be side by side. The championship leader, is he going to get into the lead of this race? Jack Craig holds it round the outside. Incredible defending there from the Alfa Romeo. All the way round the outside of our championship leader, really stamping his mark on here in this league in the first 10 laps of his S2 season. But what can Gareth do? Can he apply pressure down this back straight towards the braking zone off turn 5 or turn 6, sorry? He's going to maybe look for lunge. No, there's Lee has gone again. Lee having an awful race, spinning all over the place. He is on a waltzer. He's going to be dizzy. But still quite a lot of battles going on further down the grid. A lot of compact action. Lyo applying pressure to the hard runner Kev, and he has also got Jordan sniffing. That is behind. So has Ryan. And what's happened there to Bazza? Bazza losing 3 or 4 positions there through the old Singapore sling. So I'm not too sure what's happened to the Aston Martin. Maybe going a little bit deep. As in fact, Lewis Craig goes deep, and now that's going to allow Bazza to start the inside, but he gets a little tap from Tony, and that maybe loses the rear end a little bit and stops him from getting that drive. And now Tony's going to try and capitalise by going down the inside of the Aston Martin at the start of the third sector. But Bazza does well to defend around the outside and keep that P11 for now. Kev having a better restart, still within a second. So maybe these hard tyres starting to come into their own. So it's about Tony. How can Tony, Y-Racer and Raab do? Can they keep a relatively close gap to the leaders? That is what their focus needs to be on right now. So Lyo about 5 tenths behind. He's not going to be able to make a move from that far back. No DRS. DRS hasn't actually been used at all this race. As Tony and Y-Racer still going at it. Is the McLaren and Red Bull. But no moves really happening yet. In fact, no, Y-Racer has got past Tony, sorry. So that's Y-Racer up to 12th on the 3-lap hold hards and the fresher tyres. So Baz is up next to him. Anything happening here? No. Lyo though is looking like the man at the minute. If anyone is going to make a move, it's going to be him. Baz tries to come back. Sorry, Tony. Oh, I'm getting my words all confused. Y-Racer gets past Bazza, so Y-Racer is on a bit of a charge right now, making use of those fresh hards while they are fresh. He needs to, because come the end of the race, if he does want to go to the end, there's not going to be in the best of nick. Out front, it is Jack Craig in the Alfa Romeo, leading by 7.5 tenths, 3/4 of a second, so he's doing well. Bazza and Tony now, oh, that's contact, and that is Tony's entire front wing. Has just been absolutely shattered, and he's going to let them go. Raab now going to look to dive down the inside. He is not stopping for that corner, and that is Raab into the wall. Ryan's getting a penalty for corner cutting and track extending, and we have another safety car as Lyo was spun now. So a lot happening there in a very short amount of time, and that is caused another safety car. So surely these medium runners are going to pit. Jack stays out. Why? Why? Why would you stay out? Why are they staying out? I do not understand. Why are they staying out? Surely Jack has had such an incredible race up to this point. Surely he's risking it all and, in my opinion, throwing it away by staying out. So same for Jordan. What? I don't understand. I don't really understand why you're going to stay out. Oh, there's a very carnage-filled lap right there, and that has caused another safety car. So the third safety car, and we're only 11 laps in. We've just reached a third of the way through this race. So yeah, this is probably going to be the longest race anyone has ever seen. So Ryan with a penalty, I think for I think there was a 3 second there for corner cutting. So I'm not sure what happened. But yeah, and also we didn't see what happened to Lyle. He had a spin through come towards the bridge or the grandstand. So he lost his front wing, and then Tony lost his front wing in a battle with was it Bazza? Might have been Bazza, I think, or Y Racer, one of the two. A lot happened there. My mind got overloaded, but yeah. So now we have Tony and Rob have decided to go on to mediums. So they think they can go mediums to the end. Lyo, Bazza, Acorn, Lewis Craig, Newgarden, Ryan, and Gareth and Y Racer all on hards, fresh hards. Y Racer on 4 hards, although 3 of those have been behind safety cars, so they won't be too worn right now. And should still be able to go to the end, I'm pretty confident. But we will have to wait and see. So, will any of these medium runners decide to pit now? I don't understand the thinking of Jack Craig and Jordan. It just doesn't make any sense in my head. And Jordan is going to decide to pit, so Jack Craig will be the only person left out on the mediums to not pit. So Jordan, but why pit now? I mean, he just lost all that track position. He's going to be dropped all the way to the back of the grid, I'm pretty sure. So he's thrown away. He was in 4th or 5th, and now he's going to be 15th. So yeah, I'm not too sure of the thinking there in the AlphaTauri garage, but only he will know. Yeah, he is going to come up behind Lee just about, so he will have semi-fresh tyres to try and get to the end. I think he'll be pretty capable of that. So it's just about catching up now. They're all going to be caught up, so we should be going racing again at the end of this lap. For the 3rd time, last time it was very close between him and Jack Craig and Gareth. Can he maybe have a better restart this time by maybe copy what he did on the first restart to have better success? So that these mediums are going to be old. They're not going to be fast. I've got to imagine Kev, Davo and everyone else are going to be faster than Jack Craig right now. Because those 11 lap old mediums around Singapore, that is a long time. I know, I mean, seven laps of those have been behind safety car, but still, the wear must be building up by now. And can't really be in a good position. Can the Romeo man safety car in this lap once again, so it's back down to Jack Craig to control the pace and control when this race will get back underway. So when will he decide is the time? That is up to him. Going pretty quick, similar to the first restart it looks so far. So will he go between the second last and final corner like he did first time by, or will he wait until pretty much the line like the second time, or will he maybe go a little bit earlier? I don't know, let's wait and see. It's going to be happening very soon though. He's not gone yet, and now he decides to go similar to the first restart, and he's had the success of the first restart as well. Oh no, it's forced him to back off, I think. I'm not sure if he's going to incur a penalty for that, because that will count as going and then backing off, although I don't think he had much choice, as Gareth is making moves already, and Wyrace is going back around this outside, and Gareth has to slot in to 5th place, and now he's got Ryan very close behind. Can Ryan make a move on Gareth? Oh, very close to touching the back of the Williams, our championship leader. Here comes Wyrace on Davo. Wyrace on the pressure. Hard tyres, going to go for a move on Davo, who's on those hard tyres since the start. Davo pushes him wide, but Wyrace is still there. goes deep, keeps it clean, number 2. And that is going to be Y-Racer having to back out of that move. Oh, and Davo hits the wall, and that's going to give him a bad run. And this is going to allow Y-Racer down the inside, and surely there's nothing Davo can do about that now. There is does that Mercedes have damage? It was a heavy hit, but I didn't see any carbon fibre fly off, so he might be alright somehow. But now Gareth is going to be eyeing up a move, surely. You would have seen that contact from back there. So he's going to be looking to capitalise on the situation as there's battles going on further down the grid between Bazza and Tony. Tony getting passed on the mediums. So he's got some work to do, because I think he's going to have to pit again in this race. But all the big train right now, nobody really pulling a gap on anyone. The biggest gap is between Y-Racer and Davo, and that is because I believe Davo does have damage. And we have Acorn and Newgarden having a tussle here, and they've lost places to Lewis Craig. So Lewis Craig now 2 seconds behind Ryan. He's got to push to catch back up. But Acorn and Newgarden having a big scrap right now, as there's battles going on everywhere. Lyo and Bazza, the Aston Martin teammates, also having a scrap. The battle at the front is hotting up. Y-Racer all over the back of Kev Rusky. What could... Ooh! Y-Racer nearly loses the battle. He does lose the back end. Nearly loses the car completely into the wall. That was very close for him. Gareth looking to try and get past Davo, but it's not quite happening right now. He's still stuck in P5. He does have to try and make a move for Ryan. Decides he's had enough and tries to make a move on him. But at the minute it is make a move, overtake or be overtaken, I think is the best sentence for this train right now. Rob close to the back of Bazza, Rob on the mediums. They're side by side behind Jordan and Lee. Who's going to appear first in our picture? It's going to be Jordan, so Lee back down to the back of the grid. Bazza picking up a time penalty for corner cutting. Lewis Craig has done a really good job of closing up that gap. He's posted by over a second in less than a lap. So clearly the pace of these front guys is not quite there right now. And I mean, and you really, you don't really need to think hard to wonder why. Because Jack Craig on 13 lap odd mediums now, they must be coming towards the end of their life cycle. And look at Y-Racer putting pressure, a lot of pressure on the back of Kev Rusky. He had that big mistake, but it's still glued to the back of that Ferrari. And we should have DRS, so we're actually going to be able to have DRS now, hopefully, for a few laps to get a nice consistent run going. And in fact, no, Lee has spun. Does he have a front wing? I think he still does, so we should be right to carry on. Lewis Craig setting the fastest lap of the race in the Mercedes. So DRS enabled. Can this aid Kev Rusky in overtaking Jack Craig? It's going to be a massive DRS train for all the way from 1st down to 7th. And anyone going to be able to make a move? It looks like it's going to be Gareth, if anybody, to make the move. Looks to the outside, has to back out of it. There's nothing to be done there. What about further back? Oh, that is contact. Newgarden just breaks too late and hits the back of Acorn, and Acorn gets close by Tony. Now it's Acorn out of the race. Acorn is out, and Tony has lost his front wing again, I think. Tony's been really unfortunate, and we have a fourth safety car. A fourth safety car in 15 laps. I mean, this is becoming a bit ridiculous now, as Acorn, an innocent party in that. Newgarden just breaks too late, taps the back of him, spins him round, and Tony doesn't really have anywhere to go except for into his wheel, and yeah, that is his wheel gone. So I imagine we'll be seeing the McLaren pitting for a new front wing once again. So Tony being really unlucky right now. He's lost his front wing twice through no fault of his own. Can the McLaren stay get any better? But another safety car here, and yeah, I think we're going to be here all night at this rate. So surely Jack Craig picked this time. What's the Alfa Romeo going to do? He is going to stay out again, so what is he thinking? Kev Rusky pits, so even the hard runners are starting to pit. The hard runners are pitting, but Jack Craig just carries on. I mean, I can't think what's he trying except for if he's going to go onto the softs at the end. But the softs, as we've already seen, is not really the best tyre. David gets front wing change there. Tony also getting a front wing change. Kevariski going to come out in P12 on the mediums. So everybody is pitting out at least once, except for Jack Craig. So Jack Craig still on the mediums, gone over half race distance now on the on those tyres. Yeah, very unfortunate for Acorn there, getting taken out pretty much by Newgard and breaking too late and just tapping his rear, and then Tony having nowhere to go and just collecting into his wheel. And yeah, unfortunately that is Acorn's wheel off after a great race last time out, and Alpine launching themselves into the constructors battle. Yeah, it is now all up to Ryan to bring home the points for Alpine. And it also, to be fair, it looks like it's going to be all up to Gareth to bring home the points for Williams, because Lee is not having the best race either. And I'm not sure if Lewis Craig is actually a full-time Mercedes driver, because if he isn't, I imagine it'll be up to Davo as well. So all three constructors contenders are all having only one car in this race right now. And then also fourth place, Kev has also got one car in this race. So yeah, a very one car oriented race right now. So we just wait for these three to catch up. We should be going racing at the end of lap 17, start of 18. Oof. That was nearly Lewis Craig into the wall there under the safety car, losing a bit of concentration maybe, and nearly putting it into the wall. So, yeah, got to make sure you keep your wits about you all the time around a track like this, because the wall is never far away. So, only 2 penalties so far, and we've just reached half race distance, which is a very happy and also a bit of a daunting moment that we are halfway through this race and we have had 4 safety cars. We've only had 2 laps of DRS so far. But yeah, Lee is pitting for softs. Ben's definitely not going to get him to the end, I'm pretty certain, so I'm not too sure what the strategy is for Lee, but maybe he just wants a bit of grip to try and salvage his race. I'm not too sure. There'll probably be another safety car anyway, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, Jack Craig has successfully defended off 3 safety car restarts and a race start. So can he make it 5 in a row with the 4th safety car restart? If you were a betting man, you'd imagine you'd put your money on him. Acorn leaves the lobby very disheartened, I'd imagine, after that incident. But yeah, we're going to go racing for a 5th time here in VSL F2. And it is Jack Craig leading the way like he has done for the entire race on those 16 lap old mediums. 16 laps and he's not pit. He's just conserving those tyres under the safety car. But what can Y-Racer do? No, Y-Racer hasn't been behind for a restart yet. So a new challenger approaches for our race leader. And you'd imagine safety car going to come in again. I'd hope. And the lights haven't gone out yet. There we go. The lights out and the safety car zooms away. So it's up to Jack Craig once more to control the pace. He had a dodgy restart last time. Can he maybe do a better job of it this time? The first one was very good and it's all gone downhill since then for him. So hopefully a return to form for himself on the restart. So going very slow, trying to get as much heat in those tyres as possible. Need to wait for the safety car to enter the pitch fully before going, otherwise he'll have the same thing that happened to him last time happen to him again. And when is he going to decide to go? He's going to decide to go. Not yet now. And Y-Racer not getting the best reactions. Gareth seems to have got better reactions. Is Gareth going to look maybe to the inside? No. Y-Racer defends it. They're side by side actually. Who's that? That was Ryan maybe looking for a move on Gareth. And there's battles going on New Garden on Buzzer. We've had a spinner. That's Davo round. The Mercedes is round and down to last place. 14 side by side going into turn 5. Didn't try and go all the way around the outside. Ooh. New Garden loses the back end a little bit. Is Jordan going to be able to have a go at both of these cars? Where can he go? In fact, we have Y-Racer put in our race leader under pressure. He's going to go deep. Y-Racer goes for the overtake, but goes deep, and he's going to have to let Jack Craig back through. Otherwise, that would be an illegal overtake. Oh, no, punting. They've punted into the corner. There was a ricochet effect there. A lot of contact. I'm not too sure who was the first person to initiate it, but there may be some wing damage for a few people there. But everyone seems to have got through semi-clean. No one's retired, which is the main thing. Risky around the outside of Tony on his fresh mediums, and Lee on his softs. Davo, did he get any damage? I think he's alright to carry on. So yeah, everyone's still semi-okay. Jack Craig keeping the lead, although we did lose it momentarily as Y-Racer went for a bit of a lunge and didn't stop the car and went flying on. So smart driving from Jack Craig. He's showing that he has the racing intelligence to control the race so far, but when is he going to make that important pit stop that he has to make at some point? Who knows? As Y-Racer dummying a little bit there, trying to maybe just get it all in Jack Craig's mirrors. Jack Craig a little bit down on ERS compared to Y-Racer, but not too bad. Gareth sat in P3 now, is just going to be waiting as we have some overtakes there. Bazza, Kevin, Newgarden all going at it. Oh, is that... Bazza seemed to get pushed a little bit there. I'm not too sure who that was by. Probably Tony, but now Tony's going to go for a move around the outside. And Bazza's going to shut that door. That's not going to happen. Although, is it? Oh, we have an overtake the lead, Jack Craig sticking his nose out the inside, but finally he loses the lead. Y-Racer gets the move done. And this guy's going to have a go. No. Oh, I think there's a bit of wing damage there. Oh, and there's been contact. The Alpine is round of Ryan. Both Alpines getting spun round, and that is damage for Ryan as well there on the front right end plate. So the Alpine's day has gone from bad to worse as Ryan is now down to last place. As everything kind of kicked off there when Y-Racer got into the lead, and they all tried to be opportunistic, but that has resulted in a few bits of contact in the lead, getting very close to the wall there. Lee is really struggling around here, but we'll jump back to the battles. That is unfortunate for Ryan. He is probably going to have to fix that damage. That does look quite bad. But it's now Gareth who's got to get an overtake done on Jack Craig, as Jack Craig doesn't seem to have much pace at the minute and will lose rapidly to Y-Racer, I imagine. And Gareth is going to want to stick with him if he wants to get this race win. Well, they have got a little bit of a gap back to Lyo, over a second, and DRS will be enabled next lap, unless it got enabled this lap. I think it's this next lap where it gets enabled. We'll see when Lyle's crossed the line. There we go, DRS enabled. And here comes Gareth. He's going to look for him to turn 1. No, he's going to have to sit back and wait. Maybe to turn 3 though. No, all over the back of the Alfa Romeo, but nothing to be done just yet. As Ryan pits, going to try and go around the outside. Jack Craig not really having any of it right now. Lyo half second behind. I don't think he's going to be able to get involved in this battle just yet. Is Jack Craig going to be able to fight back? No. Jack Craig falls back to 3rd. Those tyres are dead now. As nearly gets into the back there of Gareth, very late on the brakes from the Alfa Romeo. But the train is continuing all the way from 2nd down to 11th. Very large train. This also means if you get penalties, they can be very detrimental if everyone is so bunched up. You can lose a lot of positions just from a 3-second time penalty even. So ERT Jordan behind Lewis Craig, and these all have DRS, so no real moves to be made. But now it's about Gareth. Can Gareth close that gap to Y-Race? He's got 4 lap pressure tyres, so come the end of the race that could be important to pace if my Reds tyres do drop off. But Jack Craig really holding up this train now. His tyres must be absolutely shot. You've got to imagine he's going to be pitting in the next lap or two. But I don't know what he's going to have to go on. Surely he's going to have to go on hards. Softs do not last long around here at all. But Lyo lining them up and getting an easy move done. And Lewis Craig, in fact, has spun round at the final corner. No damage for the Mercedes, although he does drive into the wall. I don't think he has any damage though. He is okay, he gets back going again, but does drop down to 13th position. More yellow flags in sector 1. What's that for? Is that for Kev Rusky? Kev Rusky and Dave, I think, have had contact there. You can see the Mercedes further down the track in the wall. Does he have damage? It doesn't seem to be visible, but he did slow down there. Maybe he was at fault for that contact and he was letting Kev go, but that was a Ferrari who was looking very positive in the first 10 laps of this race, down to a 10th place. So he's got some work to do now. Lyo is ahead of Jack Craig in all of that drama. And now it's down to ERT Jordan, who is the next man to dispatch of the Alfa Romeo when he can. You can just visibly see in the braking zones and everything how much more grip these drivers have compared to those 20 lap old mediums. Although it is, you have to give Jack Craig credit, he is performing well to even take those tyres that long as he loses the back end on the exit of the hairpin and gets overtaken by ERT Jordan, and now his teammate might be having a go as Bazza has lost the rear end and is parked in the wall on the exit of the hairpin, waits till everyone is clear and then reverses to get back in the right direction. So good sportsmanship there from Bazza, waiting for others to come until reversing. That's what we like to see. So, about 10 laps left. Gareth setting the fastest lap of the race, hunting down Y-Racer as finally Jack Craig decides to pit. But what's it going to be for hards or softs? I'm going to imagine it's softs, but even then, 10 laps on softs is a long way to go. As Tony's also pitting from his mediums, and so is Lee. So Jack Craig pitting for the hard tyres, so he isn't going to go for the softs, he's going to go for the hards. Similar story, Tony actually going on mediums, Lee putting on another set of softs, and Ryan not actually in the pits. So yeah, I don't know if anyone else will be pitting in this race, but Newgarden and Raab maybe having a bit of a tussle. The Alfa Romeo and Red Bull. So I think now the gap to watch is that gap at the front. It is coming down between Y-Racer and Gareth. And let's see how that battle develops in the closing laps of this race. The DRS for Raab, although he's not going to be anywhere near close enough to make a move. Tony picks up a penalty. He is in 13th though, so I don't think that's going to matter too much. Unless we maybe have a few more retirements and a safety car. That gap 1.4 at the front. And Davo is close to the back of Kev. 4 tenths, or was now 6 tenths between the Ferrari and the Mercedes. Davo do. They did have a little bit of contact a few laps ago, I'm pretty sure. We didn't quite catch it, it was still the aftermath. So, maybe a bit of bad blood between the two, although I do believe David did wait to let him back through, so sportsmanship again on show. The DRS and Byrne in the ERS, what can he do? The Mercedes man, he's got to run on the Ferrari, he's going to go to the inside. Kevin's going to defend too harshly, and there you go, David gets the move done up to P7 and can now hunt down Raab in the Alfa Romeo. Jordan seems to have pace over Lyo as well, only 5 tenths between the two. Into the hairpin, Jordan goes a little bit deep. And yeah, Davo right onto the back of Raab already. 7/10 the gap, and now 1.2 is the gap at the front. So it's coming down slowly but surely, and Gareth should be there in 1 or 2 laps time. But you've got to remember, he has those 4-lap pressure tyres, excuse me. So that could be a massive advantage come the end of this race. A lot of drivers towards the back end of the grid do have penalties. That could work in the favour of Jack Craig, who has managed to keep it clean so far. And talking about penalties, Rob pick up one, and also lose to Dave at the same time. He's going to try and go back around the outside. I don't think that's going to work though. No, it's not. So, Rob down to 7th. Wow, big contact there with the back of Davo. I'll be very surprised if that's not damage. That was a heavy hit for the Alfa Romeo on the Mercedes. Is Kev Risky now going to have a look? Lewis Craig in the pits, pitting for softs, and there goes Kev on the Alfa Romeo. So that is Rob losing 2 positions in the first set and having heavy contact with the Mercedes and possibly getting damaged. He has no ERS either. Lee setting the fastest lap, so positive outlook on his race. He hasn't really had the consistency so far, but showing that he does have the ultimate pace if he can just get that consistency down. And look at this gap at the front. The gap at the front has come down massively now, so Gareth well within DRS, and will be ready to pounce upon any mistake Y-Racer makes. You think you must assume really that Y-Racer did make a mistake for that gap to come down so drastically in just a lap's time, considering how close they've been so far. So it's going to be Gareth sticking within DRS, just going to wait maybe for a few laps. Y-Racer has a 10% more ERS, so does have a bit of battery to defend with if needed, and you imagine it is going to be needed. Davo making quick progress though. He's already onto the back of Newgarden. See there, 4/10 the gap, and he's really flying through the grid. So a potential top 5 for the Mercedes is on the card. That would be a very good recovery drive for him. Can get a good exit onto the straight. It's not going to be the best exit. Rob hitting for softs though after what I'd imagine would be damage. I didn't get to see if he did actually change his wing, but here's Davo on the back of Newgarden, applying a lot of pressure. And so we have yellows in sector 3. Who's that? Is that Lewis Craig having a bit of damage? And who's that spun? Newgarden has spun. Newgarden has spun. So he was in P5, getting pressure applied from Davo, and he's spun. I don't know if there's any contacts, but there's a bit of front wing there left on the track. So that is Newgarden with damage. So you can imagine he's going to have to pit. And look at this gap, the front 6 have compared to everyone else. Look on the minimap. Huge, and they're in 2s. They're going to be boarding those out 2 by 2. It is Y-Race from Gareth, Lyle and Jordan, Davo and Kev, who are all together, and that is Newgarden out of the race. He's clipped the wall there, and people want to take a void in action. Is there going to be a safety car? That is in a dangerous position if anyone wants to hit that. I imagine he would go so. Look at this, everyone having to avoid the remains of that Red Bull on the circuit, but they all managed to do so successfully. Just make sure Tony can get around it without any issues. Yeah, he just drives right through it. Davo picks up a penalty as he actually enters the pits, as we have another safety car. We have a safety car, and crucially, Y-Racer gets out in front of it. That is very important for his race, because if he didn't get out in front of that safety car, then he would have lost a lot of time with people being able to pit behind the safety car. And Lyo, as we've seen so many times this season, kind of bottling a good result, getting a drive through there. He's not going to be able to surf under the safety car, so he's going to have to surf that after the safety car, and the entire field is bunched up, and that is going to filter him all the way down to the back. You've got to imagine Lewis Craig though, going past the DNF Newgarden. You have a few people in the pits. You've got to imagine pretty much everyone's going to be pitting for softs, and this is going to set us up for a grand finale, a showdown. Davo getting a drive through as well for speeding, so these front guys losing concentration maybe after what has been a very long race. I think we've been going for, must be coming up to an hour, surely. So, yeah, is that 2 drive-throughs there for Davo? Let me just check the race director quickly. Is that 2 drive-throughs for Davo, if it's going to let me? So, oh wait, that's 2 drive-throughs. Let's look at all the warnings, a lot of warnings. There is 2 drive-throughs for Davo, so Davo's got to serve 2 drive-throughs. So that is his race over, pretty much. As he does have the softs on. What are these front runners going to do? You're going to imagine they're all going to pick the softs. I mean, the tyre advantage is going to be huge, so it makes a lot of sense to pit. As yeah, they're all going to come in. Wyrace Gareth. Lies in the pit too, so is Jordan with a very illegal pit entry. As David's actually made a mistake, he's gone deep and lost the position to Jack Craig. Doesn't lose any more though, so he's down to 7th and got 2 drive-throughs on his head. So coming down the pit lane, all going to be putting on the soft tyres. And the safety car sat there waiting patiently for them to catch up. And yeah, exit the pit lane. And we'll catch safety car on the exit of turn 3. Pretty much through turn 4. And there it is parked at the side, and now that's going to start moving to catch the leader, who is Y-Racer right now. So it's going to be a scrap between Y-Racer, Gareth, Jordan and Kev for the win, because Y does have to serve a drive-through penalty. But look at the grid, everyone apart from Jack Craig is on the soft tyre, and they are all 5 laps or fresher. So it should be all about the driver now, no tyre excuses. Now we just need to wait for people to catch up, which I think will happen at the end of next lap. So if that is the case, we will go race on lap 29, so we will have 3 laps of racing. That means on the final lap we will get DRS. So there will be 1 lap of DRS right at the end. And it's a bit of a weird one because we are going to have a safety car restart without Jack Craig at the front, so it's time for someone else to have the pressure applied. But in kind of common occurrence, it's going to be Gareth in P2. So Gareth has had a lot of research on how to do safety car restarts as the 2nd place car, and he make it count in the most important one of them all, the final safety car restart. Well, we are about a lap away from finding out, so not long to wait. So just coming through the final sector, can we see a 2 minute 30 plus lap time? 2 minute 40 maybe. I wonder what has been the longest lap of this race. It must be high 2 minutes. This is going to be about 240 actually. Maybe a bit longer, the mid 240. A 246. Wow, that is impressive. But just final few cars now to catch up. Lewis Craig being the final one. Oh, and that is Jack Craig spinning off and doing donuts, costing himself even more time and positions. And that is him all the way down to 12th now, 2nd last. So it's Jack Craig 12th, Lewis Craig 13th. So they have got all the work to do, both of them. Jack Craig, no penalties. He was in good position for a top 5 and has just kind of thrown that away now. Right, let's see what he can do. He will still have 3 laps to make amends. So just coming through the middle sector now. Safety car lights should go out this time by, and then we will be ready to go for the last time here in Singapore. We've definitely made the most of our visit. There we go, safety car in this lap. So it's now down to Y-Racer to control the pace and get heat in his tyres and try and bedazzle Gareth behind into when he's going to go and get the jump. So full ERS, fresh tyres. There will be DRS on the final lap, so it is going to be the ultimate shootout between these front 5 minus Lyo, because he's going to have to pit for drive-through, and David's going to have to pit for 2, so yeah, them two not going to have much fun, you can't imagine. So when is Y-Racer going to go? When he's going to put his foot down? Not gone yet. He's going to wait until pretty much the line, I imagine. Still not gone, still not gone. Now he goes, but he does get the best jump. Gareth could maybe be in with a chance here. Is he going to go for it? No, he's going to hold on. So Y-Racer in the lead. There's moves going on behind. Davo nor Lyo take their drive-through right now, so that's still to come. There's battles going on behind between Ryan and Lee. Lee finds himself in the top 10. A little bit unexpected considering the race he's had and the absolute drama that is faced in pretty much every lap. But it is Y-Racer out front from Gareth in P2, our championship leader. He won't be disappointed with the P2 considering his closest brother Dave was down in 6th. And then we have a yellow flag and it's Lee. I was just talking about the dramas he's been having and he finds himself in even more drama, now dropped to the back of the grid. But he does have 2 places to make up because of those drive-throughs. So Y-Racer making very good progress, 9/10 already over Gareth, so showing that he does have the pace. And maybe pressure to be applied to Gareth by Jordan once Lyo moves out of the way, as Lee spins again and has, just struggling really. We've had a nightmare of a race of an evening. I bet he can't wait for this one to finish. It's Davo close to Kev behind. More yellows, and that is Lee out of the race. No safety car though. Jack Craig picking up a penalty, so his day goes from bad to worse, and oof, that is Davo pretty much grazing the wall as much as you possibly can without getting damaged. But Lyo may be struggling a little bit here. He's 1.2 behind, so but he's going to pit for his drive-through penalty. So is Davo, who has still got to serve another one after this. Here comes Kev Risky though on Jordan down to turn 1. Is he going to make the move? All contact, I think. Lewis Craig picking up a penalty as well. So Kev all over the back of Jordan for the final podium position. These two, neither of them have penalties, so track position is king right now. Out front, Gareth has got that gap down to 6.5 tenths. And, who's using the RS? Jordan has used a lot more. What about out front? Yeah, Y-Race has used more than Gareth, but not a significant amount really. Behind, Ryan is ahead of Rob, so they have fallen back massively. Jack Craig was looking for moves there, and on Tony, and that is heavy contact, and that is not what you want to see. Tony clearly angry, taking his anger out on Jack Craig's side pod there. That's not really what you want to see. The anger maybe getting to Tony a little bit there. He has lost his front wing quite a few times, and finally he's snapped. But anyway, back to the front 4. It's 8 tenths between Y-Racer and Gareth. But can he do anything? He'll have DRS for the final lap. I don't think he's going to be close enough to make anything happen though. That gap nearly extends to a second, so Y-Racer putting in incredible lap times and amazing work DRS there enabled for the final lap of the Singapore GP. An absolute endurance race, and who's going to come out on top? Is it going to be Y-Racer or Gareth? And who's going to come out for the final podium position? Is that going to be Jordan or Kev? That gap now just creeps to over a second. So is Gareth even going to get DRS? He's not. Gareth has not got DRS. So Y Racer's lap times have been incredible in getting him out of that DRS when it mattered. And now, does Gareth have a response? Davo into the pits for his final drive-through. So Mayo gets into the top 10. And that gap up front, 7.5 tenths, but there isn't really a major overtaking spot left apart from entering the final sector. And Gareth at the minute is not close enough to make that one a reality. Neither is Kev, so things looking pretty stalemate. Davo picked up another penalty, doesn't matter, he's already lost, and I think he's spun out the pit lane there from serving his final drive-through. Half a second between Jordan and Kev. He has DRS using all his battery, but I don't think anything is going to be able to be done about Jordan in P3, and it's going to be Y Racer now in the final sector without a mistake. This is his race, and I think that was a purple middle sector I just seen. So is he going to get the fastest lap as well on the last lap? Can Y Racer stomp his dominance on the streets of Singapore here and come out with an incredible win? I think it's going to happen as he comes out with the final chicane into the final double left. It's going to be Y Racer in the Red Bull coming home to take an incredible win here in Singapore, and he doesn't get the fastest lap. I thought it was on there, but incredible drive from Y Racer, our winner. And look at him there going crazy in the cockpit. Darren, our champion leader, can take P2. Jordan holds on, defending from Kev to get P3, and Kev, after a valiant drive, trying to get that final pole position, comes on P4. Ryan, single Alpine to finish this race, P5. Rob, P6. And Bazza, kind of in the lower midfield for all the race, comes home for a solid P7. Jack Craig, after some questionable strategy decisions and picking up a penalty there towards the end, P8. Lewis Craig, P9. Lyo, he looks promising. He could have been in the podium fight, but a late drive-through sees him down in P10. And Dave with an absolute nightmare safety car period with a double drive-through is going to come home when he finishes this final sector for P11, and then Tony, P12, Lee 13, Newgarden 14, Acorn 15, and George 16. Davo coming up with interpreted truck limits there, and across the line it's going to be, as he has a huge collision there, and the front right corner of that Mercedes, not too happy right now. But yeah, after that absolute endurance of a race, it's going to be Y Racer who shushes everyone to and wins the Singapore GP. I want to see how long this race was, because I think this was way over an hour. Must have been, surely. But there he is, the Red Bull man, coming out to the podium to claim his first place trophy, and stand next to the master, Adrian Newey, there on the left hand side. Raises the trophy high above his head. He can celebrate that one. Never mind, doesn't even raise the trophy. But yeah, an incredible race. And that was a 63-minute race, a 1 hour and 3 minutes here in Singapore. And it's going to be Y Racer winning from 14th on the grid by 1.4 seconds, missing out on the fastest lap by just over 3 tenths there to Lee. It's going to be Gareth in second, Jordan rounding out the podium, Kev and Ryan in the top 5, Raab 6th, Bazza 7th, Jack Craig 8th, leading Lewis Craig in 9th, and Lyle round out the top 10. Davo, our final finisher, and then Tony 13th, Lee 4th, Lee 13th, Tony 12th, sorry, Newgarden 14th, Acorn 15th, and George, our first DNF on the opening lap. Unfortunate for him, in P16 and the final drive on the classification. So yeah, thank you all for joining me for that crazy Singapore GP, and make sure to join us again next week when we all go racing to do it over again. So yeah, thank you for joining me here for VSL F2, and have a good week, and see you this time next week. So yeah, see you in a bit.